Layoffs get louder. Trust gets quieter. This week is about separating courage from spin. Welcome to Paper Cut. A pattern keeps repeating. Companies cut jobs, cite AI or focus, and wait for markets to approve. In consulting, whole teams are being reshaped. Public bodies are making cuts as funding changes. A canceled employment report has even removed a key data point from the dashboard, so leaders are steering without full visibility. Some layoff tactics are so clumsy that they end up costing more in brand damage and distraction than they save on payroll. Here is the hard reality. Layoffs are a leadership test as much as a finance decision. They can build credibility inside and outside the organization, or they can burn it. If cuts are unavoidable, explain the logic. Protect critical skills and early careers where you can. Share the criteria in plain language. Invest in outplacement that helps people land, not just a link to a portal. Then close the loop with those who remain, who are closely watching how people are treated on the way out. This is not about being nice. It is about being consistent and specific, which is what retains high performers. AI proficiency required is rapidly becoming standard on job specs, particularly in consulting and strategy roles. At the same time, automated screening tools are narrowing talent pools and baking in bias. On the ground, AI agents still struggle with unstructured, shifting work and unclear goals. In parallel, analysts argue that entry-level roles are shifting rather than evaporating, with different tasks and different starter skills. There is a way to avoid the recruitment doom loop. First, define the workflows where humans plus AI genuinely outperform either alone. Second, hire for learning speed, problem-solving, and judgment, instead of just asking for the latest tool on a CV. Third, teach managers how to assess real capability in interviews and work samples. Finally, give new joiners a 90-day AI learning path tied to real deliverables. When a process cannot tell the difference between prompt tricks and genuine craft, it tends to hire confident performers instead of builders. Policy debates are noisy, but the direction of travel is visible. Some regulators are pushing for stronger remote work rights. Others are clarifying what flexible really means. In practice, teams are walking away from collaboration days that do not deliver outcomes. Employees are being asked to stay constantly available while the same leaders talk about balance and well-being. Tracking tools that flag someone after 5 minutes of idle time do not create focus. They create performative busyness. The fix is unglamorous and effective. Start with a clear operating model by role. Identify the few moments where being in the same room changes the quality of the work. Train managers in asynchronous practice, feedback, and decision-making. Measure outcomes at the team level instead of monitoring keystrokes. Hybrid is at its best when it behaves like a designed system. When it is left to vibes and individual preference, it quickly turns into confusion and resentment. Awards are landing across the board. Global best workplace lists, national top employer rankings, and new HR standards in markets such as India. Predictions for 2026. Workplace culture and Glassdoor's trend reports offer a view of what is coming next. Candidates use all of that as background, then check the reality through reviews, social feeds, and conversations. If the badge and the practice do not line up, the practice wins. Treat lists as a byproduct, not the main narrative. Share the standards you hold managers to. Show your pay philosophy in clear language and be consistent in how you apply it. Handle salary negotiations as an adult conversation about value and constraints, not as a game. Gen Z's so-called career minimalism is better understood as boundaries formed in response to a market that has sometimes overpromised and under-delivered. The real edge is the system that produces list-worthy experiences quarter after quarter, whether or not there is a trophy on the wall. This week's stories are less about AI or RTO in isolation and more about trust. Brands that endure have leaders who build systems that respect people as adults and narrate decisions with clarity rather than drama. Use awards as receipts, not shields. Make your processes match your promises. That is how an employer brand stays credible when the headlines move on. Thanks for tuning in to Paper Cut. Don't let Monday catch you off guard. Subscribe now. See you next week.